Hey all, it's Dinosaur. You probably have noticed these. These are now it kind of needs to be done just to sharpen things up a little for me. And it's getting kind of late on a Sunday, but I wanted to talk about something really important to me anyway, where it's not very many important to other people. Um, Largely, the new Point Break trailer was released. Mm. Point Break. I saw that movie before I went to high school, and a matinee 2 or 3 times thing, and the reason why I bring it up to you folks is that I saw this trailer, and I have to admit, this trailer, the new Point Break, is absolutely atrocious. It is basically, like everyone said. There's actually a lot of comments are saying specifically is like Fast and Furious, but libertarian thing. And let me give you all a little background to explain why I'm so upset with this movie. Not the fact that I'm really just getting old, which that probably is playing a factor here. But the fact is Hollywood truly really has forgotten any originality, and they don't want to do originality. They just want to get people through the gates and paying the money, which is really hurtful because Point Break, in my opinion, is considered one of the worst but one of the best movies that any American kid needs to grow up and watch, because the lessons that they learn in that film. Now, of course, there's tons of swearing. It's the original Point Break, it was F you this, F you that, tons of swearing throughout the whole film. And that's just part of it. The other part of it is that throughout the whole entire process, on the whole thing was about the surfers. So here's the thing. Let's talk about the first trailer, the new trailer. The new trailer holds a few main characters' names, some no-name B actors that which I don't even recognize any of them. No, maybe because I just don't follow movies. But it's just kind of like, huh? They picked what? Huh? Okay, and then they show this whole thing about how a plane was flying over with $1 million in cash, and they unscrewed the bolts, come up through the floorboards, cut the cash loose, let the cash rain on the jungle, and then they parachute to safety, and they get over here, and then they go into the film saying, Utah, what's your opinion? And is as well, my opinion, sir, is these are extreme athletes like myself, because they waited to the last minute to deploy the chutes. And then they go on to the trailer saying there's $1 billion inside this hole and we're just going to free it up and we're not going to steal it, you know. Wow. Just wow. You guys took a really good movie to try to explain some important concepts to people, and you turned it into a cash cow. The stunts, they looked incredible. Don't get me wrong. I'm a fan of good stunts. I'm a fan of applying CG to stunts when it is necessary, not when it is unnecessary. Some of them look great. The thing is with the original Point Break is that they didn't have CG at their disposal. Okay, they had themselves, so they had to do a lot of camera tricks for it to work. And some of the photography they got in that film was absolutely incredible. But there's a lot of it was just complete bullshit. For example, the main characters Bodie and Johnny Utah were talking to each other, holding each hands while parachuting 120 miles an hour. Said that never could happen because you're going at 120 miles an hour. You couldn't even really, you have a hard time breathing. It doesn't make any sense, but it made good Hollywood. But here's the thing. So basically, the new Point Break, which a lot of the comments, and I agree, says they could have just renamed this as anything else, and it would have worked because everyone would have just called it a Fast and Furious clone, except for the extreme athletes. And it's just kind of, you're just shaking your head, going like, you guys totally missed the point of Point Break. Now, first of all, let's get something straight. Everyone says Fast and Furious, the original Fast and Furious, and I'm not talking about the one from like way back. I'm talking about the one in 2000 with the first one with Jordana Brewster, Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, and Paul Walker. That one was kind of a clone of the Point Break in 1989 with Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze. The reason why it was kind of a clone is because it was produced by the same person, Catherine Bigelow. She produced both films. And in the film, the bad guy either didn't get caught or didn't get away. Now, we all know Fast and Furious, Paul Walker handed the keys off, which was kind of cool, different for the time. And then he just went on, and then we had the whole Fast and Furious franchise. Point Break did not get that luxury on that. Now, what Point Break did get was some of the most awesome surfing scenes to remember. But also some of the biggest life lessons that anyone could remember. That in the end, you really didn't know. There was always a question mark whether Bodie survived. So let's take a look at the quick look at the characters. Johnny Utah, in the original Point Break, he was a just graduate of the FBI Academy. He got his pick a location, his picked L.A., bank robbery capital of the world. Gets on this case with some 30-year-old veteran named Pappas, which was played by Gary Busey. Point Break Modern. Johnny Utah is some Green Berets badass that has total experience and everything. Just whatever. And I guess the Gary Busey character is some old-timer dude. Okay, whatever. Alright, here's another problem with the whole thing. No, actually not a problem. Patrick Swayze played Bodie. Bodie was, they call him Bodie, I forget the whole terminology, but he was like kind of the center of the world of where surfing in Malibu rolled around, because he wasn't a jerk, but he was kind of, a lot of things happened around him. Similar to Vin Diesel's character, Dominic Toretto, with racing, the Fast and Furious street racing. Okay, but the difference is he didn't have $1 million lying around. He got his money from God knows where, which later on we found out was bank robbery. This Bodie, some English guy or Australian guy here, it's just like, I looked at him, I'm like, dude, I looked at him and I said, man, I want to scream, this is Sparta. He didn't even look like anything like Bodie. He didn't even look like anyone that would be called Bodie. He just looked like a doofus. Alright, but that's my personal opinions here. But here's the thing. Here's the whole problem with that. The original trailer, Point Break, made these guys seem like out-of-control people that have some libertarian purpose of freeing money up to people. Okay? And that's not what Point Break was about. The original Point Break was about 4 guys, Bodie, Gromit, and the other 2 guys, and they were about living life. But they were also about reminding the people of this earth that there's more to life than rolling around in they called metal coffins every day, day in, day out. There's more to that, and that's what the film really showed. Some of the skydiving scenes are incredible on that, but it showed to the populace that was watching, there's more to life than just bank robbery. There's more to this. Now, some of the bank robbery chase scenes, absolutely fantastic. They were hailed as like unprecedented. Like, I remember the car chase scene where their bumpers got locked and Gary Busey's yelling, "We got you!" And they're like, "You ain't got shit!" And they broke into a photo booth and they tore off. And the thing is, okay, but here's the thing here. They always said throughout the original Point Break, the whole purpose of them doing this was to project strength. And because they don't want to kill anyone, when people are not willing to accept the strength, then that's when people get hurt. Well, eventually they come to a bank robbery where someone fought back and people ended up getting killed over money. But then, as this phrase goes, honor to thieves, as more and more of them started getting killed as the police kept getting closer to them. And in the end, it only remained Bodie. But you see, this another film, they're saying that on a national level, on a world level, we're going to free $1 billion to the rest of the population. That's not what it was about. It was about these guys who are no more than thieves because they have a different philosophy on life. They wanted to live life. They didn't want to be one of the people in the metal coffins. You know? And Johnny Utah understood that. And at the very end of the film, when they watch Bodie go on a surfway begging for Utah one more surfing opportunity, one more time, let me do this. And Utah let him, Keanu Reeves let him do it because he knew what was happening, because he knew Bodie was going to hit this wave and probably die in the process. Now, the legend goes is that some of the caves, he got into an underground cave in the surf when the surf crashed over. Photography-wise, it was absolutely fantastic. You couldn't believe the guy who did that stunt. Nobody could just believe he survived. It was incredible on that. But then what do? There's a few, the new modern one, there's a few CG scenes. They're on some yacht. They're riding around motorcycles. Bodie's crew rolled around with, like, surf clothes, maybe $20 sneakers, all that. Maybe just pop some money for dorm house rentals. These guys are walking around $5,000 tax suits with $20,000 motorcycles. Oh, come on. That is not what Point Break was all about. It was about a bunch of guys wanting to live their life, and they wanted to be social with everyone else. So, you know what? Here goes back to Hollywood. I'm writing this because I'm so offended about this film. I'm really hurt because the film, it's cruel. It's absolutely cruel why a film should be butchered just to make money. Just the first trailer showed how much butchering. They could have named it anything else. And it's just more proof Hollywood has no original thought. Because they can't name it anything else. They could name it Jungle Flyers or whatever. Just they could have named it something else. But no, they didn't. They chose not to. They chose to name Point Break, copy the names, and, pay off Catherine Bigelow and all those people for the original concept. Then I started thinking about all the others. Now, there's another thing called Footloose. They did a pretty decent job because they gave credit to the first one. This one is just completely whacked out. It has no basis in the chronology. I was hoping for Point Break 2 to explain what happened to the characters because these characters were so good. Specifically Johnny Utah and all that. Plus, the original Point Break has this Bodie, I'm an FBI agent that is legendary in Hollywood. I don't see this upcoming film having that kind of a legendary impact. It looked like just a cash grab to me. Anyway, this is Dinosaur. I had to give a rant about this because I think Hollywood, it's time to start being original. It's time to rename your stuff. It's time to come up with original scripts. Anyway, that's all. Talk to you later.